and welcome to the Comic Conspiracy, episode 576 for the week of February 5th, 2023. My name is Ryan Higgins. Who's here this week with me?
Brock Sager.
Kevin.
And Charlie.
That would be Toby. See, Toby, it's funny because we know you, but other people don't know who you are. So you are Toby. Lane is also here. Lane, you going to be hanging out for a few?
Yeah, sure.
Cool.
Hello.
Lane is here. And we will we'll see, Lane, whenever you're ready to take off, whenever you take off. But good to have you on. Good to have everyone here. What a week for DC Comics, and it's the first time I could say that in what feels like many years. What a great week for DC Comics. I don't say this very often.
I don't know how it's a great week for you. Most of the stuff that would technically be great for is out of print. We can't sell it.
We'll get to that. Marvel fans that hate DC, turn off the podcast now. We're not even going to bother.
What Ryan just said is an evergreen statement, so you might as well just put that on top of your podcast player.
Well, that was a short week for me. I'll see you guys later.
Later, Toby.
Mm-hmm. How many Nightwing covers did you buy the other week, Toby?
Like $100 worth.
This is all DC. Finally, we have the complete DC Studios reveal for the first couple of years. And it's much bigger than I expected, a much bigger topic. It wasn't just a couple things obviously we've just dropped the morning after we recorded the last podcast, like we knew it would. So we've had a whole week to kind of
realize how much full of shit we were.
Hey,
of course.
Excuse me. If I batted 50%, I'd be the king of Major League Baseball. Okay? I batted 50% on my guesses. FYI.
We'll wait till we get to that. We'll wait because I got some thoughts. We're gonna go over the things announced and some of the talk after, as well as some other things related to James Gunn and Peter Safran's DC Studios plans for the next number of years. I would like to go over each one, brief summary, and then like to each of us give a quick thought. Quick thought, doesn't have to be anything major. But if you like it, if you don't like it, if you have any fun theories or what you think about it. I don't know that there's a lot of, other than there's a loose order and there's very few dates. But what was announced this past week was the first 10 film and TV shows, five movies, 5 TV shows, that will be part of the rebooted DC Universe line, which involves movies, TV, animation, and video games, run by DC Studios, co-run by James Gunn and Peter Safran. So these are the official these are the guys in charge now of all the media stuff, right? And Jim Lee, obviously very involved from CCO of DC in general, the overall brand, and obviously kind of the de facto head of the comics department. So we're gonna kind of go over these a little bit and what the info we have. Not much, but
we got titles.
We got some titles. We'll do the movies first.
Issue to comic books.
Yeah, so I guess actually first, before we go into the specifics, there was a number of interesting things Gunn said in this video and this series of interviews with Variety and other outlets. It's not just here's some movies, right? There was a whole not just structure of how these things are going to flow, but also their entire thought process and how they're going to stick to, or in some cases not stick to, their plans as things go on. The plan right now is for everything to be connected, similar to Marvel in the MCU. Makes sense. We've had discussions on this podcast all through the years about whether we think it's a good idea for things to be connected or not connected. In theory, I like it. In practice, it's tough. It doesn't always work. I find the Marvel stuff to be a little homogenized. Gunn says that's not going to happen at DC. That creators, the writers are the ones in charge. He made numerous references to Marvel about the producers being in charge. Their plan here is creators first. Now, you could say that. That's a great thing to say when it comes to pay the bills. Who knows, right? But okay, like you've said this, so we're going to hold you to this. Their plan is for 2 movies and 2 TV shows a year, and I expect the TV shows will build on each other because obviously some will go multiple seasons. And I think that's a completely, perfectly solid level of content to put out. If they're like, oh, we got 6 movies in the first year, I would have been like really concerned because I think that's, just slow and steady. That's all we need. 2 good movies. 1 good movie a year is good enough for me. 2 solid good movies is more than enough. And that the dates set, let me rephrase that. Dates will not be set until the movies are ready. Movies will not start production, and TV shows will not start production until the scripts are done. Now, of course, there could be some rewrites and there could be some reshoots. These things happen. But again, Gunn said that in production on stuff for other properties, assuming he means Marvel, they'd start filming it. They didn't even have the 3rd act written yet. Things were being rewritten constantly. Nobody knew what was going on at any point. I love that he's saying this. Now, does it stick true? Oh, I don't know. Who knows? When you've got 4 movies out and suddenly 3 of them are going to get delayed and, they're not going to have a movie out this year. Does Warner just say, fuck it? No, it's got to be out. I mean, maybe we'll see when we get there. Hopefully not. But, I'd much rather have them have a quality finished product than, rush a bunch of garbage out. I think I would assume we're all on the same page here.
We all don't announced... Go ahead, Lane.
But you already announced the date for Superman.
Right, and we'll get to that. Yeah, and I mean, to me, that means Superman is well on its way, right?
Yeah, but it just counters everything you just said.
Well, it doesn't counter it if the script is basically. I mean, he's writing it, he's directing it. We assume he's directing it, right?
He's not confirmed that yet.
Yeah, I know, but he's directing it. Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's the only one. This is where they're starting, right?
Yeah.
And so he obviously has an idea of his plan of how far he's into this. He's controlling the whole thing top to bottom. I would think he would know. He wouldn't have set a date if this wasn't already happening. He probably has an idea. They probably have already know who Superman is, right? They probably already know stuff privately. They've already had. I'm sure they already have an idea of where they're going with it, right? Superman's the first one. And maybe that was, maybe this is the one that maybe the first one out is the one they're like, you have to start here, but everything else you kind of get some time to work on, right? Because Superman should, in theory, be the only movie out in 2025, right? I don't. It's coming out summer, so I wouldn't expect we'll see something else that Christmas.
Well, do you want to just also forget you glanced over the fact that there's a difference now between DCU and Elseworlds,
right? So
movie be out the same year.
Yeah, so because the Batman 2 is out in 2025 as well. So the DC Studios properties are the DC Studios line. They're all connected. They're going to have the same actors. Will be in, if they're in the movie, they're in the TV show, they're in the animation. Again, that sounds great. Will it actually happen? I don't know, but I like that idea. It doesn't always work because if you're good in a movie, that doesn't mean you're a voice actor. Look at What If. I think the voice acting is real hit or miss with the with the actual actors that were in the movies. Voice acting is very different than acting. Again, it sounds good, but are you going to have 100 hours of dialogue for a Suicide Squad game by whoever's playing Harley Quinn, and then that person's also in a movie? Like they're not paid on the same scale. Voice acting is paid significantly less. So it sounds good, but will it actually happen? Well, we'll find out. Right?
Will actors want to be locked into a contract that has them doing that much stuff and potentially limiting them getting
some will.
Jobs?
Some will, sure. I mean, I bet if you ask 99.9% of actors, do you want a guaranteed 10-year deal where you're in movies, TV, animation, video games? I think most people would say yes. The very top people wouldn't, because they can do whatever they want, right? But I think most actors would say, hell yes. Give me that lifetime, give me that career, They're not going to, they're locked into that. That's guaranteed money. But no, right? No, it's not going to work for everyone. Actors will be replaced. People will come and go. Right? It happened with Marvel. It'll happen with DC as well. So everything else is considered Elseworlds, and I love that they're actually using the word Elseworlds. So Teen Titans Go, Superman and Lois, which I had this pegged for later in the conversation, but they said is getting at least another season or two, so that's not getting canceled. Now, season 3 might be the season or two, and then that might be the end of it, so I don't know. But that I read that as a 4th or 5th season. So my hope is that outside Leanne getting stuff out of the fridge, Kevin. I heard you.
Oh, I thought that was on my end.
No.
It's our ASMR for the episode.
I usually mute, but I was in the middle of talking, so I couldn't mute. What was I saying? So the Elseworld stuff. So Teen Titans Go, Superman and Lois, the Batman, the Penguin,
Joker.
TV show,
Joker.
Joker 2, right? All those are considered Elseworlds. And they're not cutting those off either. They don't really talk about it, but they didn't say, like, we're never going to do any more of these. Projects like that are standalone and disconnected from the main world. Batman the Animated Series, right? The new animated series coming up, the Ed Brubaker and Greg Rucka written one for Amazon seems to be the rumor. I'm assuming that's Elseworlds, all right? All the DC animated movies, please do not end those. Keep those coming. Again, I think a major problem with Marvel's output is, where's the animation? You're with fucking Disney. Where is the animated projects for Marvel? How is there not like 20 animated Marvel movies out at this point? It's crazy.
Does Disney even do animated anymore? Isn't it all CG?
It's the same thing. But yeah, where is all the animated projects at Marvel? So I really, I don't know if you guys know how many fucking animated DC movies there are at this point. It's like 50 or 60 of them or something. It is an unbelievable release schedule that they have. I'm so far behind on them. But that Legion one comes out this week. Yes, I'm going to skip that to the front and watch that right away. So I really hope those DC animated movies keep coming out, because they're all a lot of fun. And there will be other animated projects. And Gotham Knights, right? The Gotham Knights TV show, whatever they do with the Gotham Knights game, that's all Elseworlds now. So it's not
Canceled
continuity
world?
Or nothing.
What? Canceled worlds? What?
Well, we'll see. I mean, it's getting at least one season. It's coming out soon.
Have any of you played the Gotham Knights video game?
Oh no, I have no interest. No, I never had any interest, and I heard it's trash. But maybe it's sold okay. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, in any video game, like we get that in Suicide Squad, and then we won't see another video game for years. Games take forever to make, so way longer than movies and TV shows. So I don't expect we'll see a DC video game anytime soon. Yeah, I mean, like Arkham games and stuff, right? But that's all Elseworlds.
There's a couple coming, but they're mostly mobile.
Yeah, sure, and those don't count, right? I mean, real actual video games, not mobile bullshit. So yeah, again, all sounds great. Will it happen? Will they? I mean, Gunn didn't just maybe we'll do this. I mean, he was on video interviews, a whole production thing that he did. So you gotta think they've got this figured out. It would really suck if we're 6 months into this and suddenly all this is gone. But I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, right? I mean, third time's the charm. We'll see if DC Studios can do what Warner Brothers and DC Films couldn't. Any thoughts before we get on to the specific properties? Toby, you're a movie buff. You're a Hollywood guy. You're a Hollywood insider. You like this? Anything you like this? You don't like it?
What I like the most,
Kevin, give me some thoughts.
What I like the most about all of this, at least from the announcement, you can tell that Gunn is a comic book reader. Just by the
we will get to that. We will get to that.
Just by the things he picked, I mean that kind of made me very happy. Not to get the Snyder boys riled up. I mean, you know this, Ryan. I would have liked to see a wrap-up movie. I would have liked to see a Justice League movie or something to kind of wrap up all that. And that could be The Flash. That could be. I mean, we have no idea what The Flash is about. Maybe that's what The Flash is, but I would have liked to have seen a proper Superman one last time from Cavill, just because the way they teased everything. I was like, that's maybe done in pure form, like bad form at the end there, which is not Cavill's fault. I think there's some other things that play. So that bums me out as a fan, but when you think from a business aspect, this all makes sense. It's too bad for Cavill, but all this kind of makes sense, and I'm kind of excited of what's coming. And they also didn't like the other favorites are still around. It seems like they didn't say no to them just yet. So yeah.
Yep. That was one of the other things we're going to mention later, but might as well mention it now. That other than Cavill, and I assume Ben Affleck, I don't know that he's been mentioned specifically, but the other actors are able to return if they want. Shazam feels disconnected enough that if Shazam 2 is profitable, that maybe they'll do a Shazam 3 and they don't have to worry about it. So Zachary Levi can come back. Hold off on Aquaman. Talk about Aquaman later. Gal Gadot, again, they'd be dumb to not try to get one more Wonder Woman movie out. She's such a good person in that role. I don't envy that recasting. I think you can easily do one more Wonder Woman movie and slot it in somewhere. But if the idea is we'll come back to these characters in 4 to 5 years, then they're done, right?
This might be a little tougher, yeah.
Yeah, that's harder. But if they're like, okay, well, we can move a few things around and we can slot something in, and let's get Wonder Woman out in 2026.
I mean, it feels a little like they're going to continue with some of these, and then Cavill's done. But again, like water under the bridge at this point. It's too
yeah.
Well, you're forgetting that once that Flash movie hits, all the Snyderverse becomes an Elseworld.
Well, we'll get to it. Let's do that before we actually start listening to the movies. I guess that is better to do first, right? So, I was going to save that for later, but yeah, whatever. I just have a long list of stuff.
I see no list.
I have my list.
You say
Shazam is out in a couple months. Shazam is happening.
Isn't it March?
The Flash is out in June. James Gunn says The Flash is one of the best superhero movies he has ever seen. Now, again, I don't know. He also doesn't say this about Shazam or Blue Beetle or Aquaman. He specifically says this about Flash. Now, that could be them just trying to get people excited for Flash because people are not excited for Flash. It could legitimately be good. I don't know. Who knows? We'll find out. But he said that at the end of Flash, that is when the reboot happens. It sounds like they're shooting something for Flash that's going to be the thing that changes the continuity of everything. We've joked on this very podcast about, just have Reverse Flash come at the very end credits and kill Barry's mom, and now you've got Flashpoint, right? And or Flash goes back in time and saves her. Now you've got Flashpoint, right? There's in continuity ways to do this. I have a fan way I would do this.
theory
that would never happen, but in a comic book it could happen, and I almost want I wanted to see them do this. Barry goes back in time at the end of the movie. Everything's all fucked up, right? Like, world's all fucked up. He realizes when this all starts. He finds out when this all starts. So the end credits, right? The end of the movie, right? It doesn't have to be end credits. It just be the end of the movie. He goes back in time to when Jonathan Kent dies in Man of Steel. Now, I like this scene in a bubble. I like this within the context of Man of Steel. It fits the tone of the movie. One can argue that scene is the dividing line for Superman, right? That scene causes a very different Superman to happen when Jonathan Kent stops Clark from saving him because he doesn't want to reveal his powers. He doesn't want to save himself, right?
We don't need to go through that horrible scene again.
So Flash goes back in time, saves Jonathan Kent from getting killed, completely changing Superman's trajectory to this. His father's alive. He has this bright, happier moment. He realizes he can be a hero. He doesn't have to. He can realize his father was wrong. Whatever. And there's your split. And here comes all of a sudden everything's different after that, right?
But with a new Paul Kent, a new Superman, a new Monster.
Right, yeah. Suddenly, Clark.
But then that doesn't change his life because it's a completely different set of actors.
Well, that's what sure, but whatever. Clark.
I only don't like it because it feels like a slap in the face of what came before, which is what some people want. I almost feel like just start anew is almost better.
Sure, but Clark. Sure, the different actors is whatever. But Clark becomes Superman earlier because remember. He doesn't become Superman until Man of Steel. He has his first day on the job is Man of Steel. So this guy, they said there's going to be a younger Superman, a younger Clark Kent, right? Boom, there's your split. I don't know. It's fun. I think it's a fun in continuity comic booky thing to do.
You already have a younger,
which means they won't do it.
Kent, which means you have Jonathan Kent because that never happened.
What's that?
It's a new universe, baby. It's DCU 0 or DCU Prime.
Well, Blue Beetle is coming out, and Blue Beetle is obviously very disconnected. I'm sure if there was any connection there, going to ignore it or just re-edit it out. But Aquaman is 100% in this universe. Aquaman's coming out after Flash. So how do they do that? How can that happen? Sure, but is it right? Like it's the post rebooted continuity. So Aquaman is still maybe it's an Elseworld, but it's if and Gunn did say that Jason Momoa will never play two characters, and there's a possibility of more Aquaman. So Aquaman is still in this, this Aquaman movie is going to be in this continuity for better or worse, right? All the reports are that all the scenes that what's his face did, Michael Keaton did, they reshot with Ben Affleck. So Ben Affleck is going to be in the Aquaman movie, right? I believe. Yes. Right?
I think that was the rumor / story for a bit. I don't know if any of this are lasting post Gunn taken over.
I don't know. That last we saw, he was on set filming. So,
but I don't know post Gunn if all that stuff is taken back out. At the
right?
Time, it seemed like unquote unquote Snyderverse is going to be back on the plate, and we get more of that stuff. And now it seems like a reboot, a soft reboot. So I could see them taking all the stuff they were paving wave to do. I could see them taking all if they actually did it.
Yeah,
see them taking it all out now.
Yeah. Right. The whole idea was there was going to be multiverse Batman running around. All this stuff's not happening now, right? Yeah. At least I don't think it is.
No, we have other multiverse characters that are going to be running around.
But remember I said that Batman's going to be an Aquaman because we'll come back to this in a little bit. Kevin, though, your thoughts on Superman? I don't think do you like that? No? Do you hate that? Is that, do you find that's the dividing line? That's the thing that people hate about Man of Steel the most, right? That line. And I think that's the split. I don't know. I think it works for me. I like it.
It just
it's comic booky. That's why I like it.
Yeah, I mean, with all of this actual news, we're discussing a fan theory, which is fun. But I would say
it's half this podcast.
We need to talk about it.
It just seems a little too small, like that a whole universe would change based on that one thing.
Superman being happy would change the universe. It would
change Aquaman's life, Batman's life, Wonder Woman's life. Like it.
Well, I think it wouldn't change enough of it. Yeah, I mean, it could change bits of it enough to make the new universe, right? So
yeah,
that's where I'm going with that. It's my fan theory.
I'm picturing something bigger. rather than him intersecting with a particular scene in one movie, I would see it more almost. If you're going to do that, which I don't know if they're going to do that and go back and insert him into another movie.
No.
But I would see it more if you were going to go that way. See him like hopping through all the movies rather than just landing in Man of Steel and then okay, it's all good now. Pa Kent's alive.
It's correcting things here and there. Yeah.
But if he jumps in at Man of Steel, he changes everything in the next movie.
Yeah.
So the movie would not exist for him to jump into.
And that's right. That's the whole thing with time travel, right? It's like, what is he?
I'm not having another Endgame time travel argument. Let's move on.
If it's a different timeline, Brock.
Yeah. Back to the Future.
DVD player, whatever. I don't
care.
Back
to the Future rules.
Nope.
All right. Wouldn't you rather have him just do this all off kind of without interfering with Man of Steel or any previous movies? Because otherwise that way it gives Gunn a clean slate for the next movie.
Yes, but something happens in Flash. He says this. So maybe it doesn't. Maybe Flash ends it. It's just like, okay, movie's over. Yeah. Universe reboots on the outside and
0 hour happens.
But we don't know, right? I have no idea. This is just my fun fan theory. Come up with your own. Post it on the forum.
Hey,
Barry, tell us in the podcast.
We know this
is run on this treadmill, Barry.
Like we know this is based on Flashpoint, right? Sort of. It's still sort of.
Sure, but there's multiple Flashes running around. There's the Supergirl from Injustice. Like,
right.
It's not.
But I mean, they could use the same ending, which is basically when Flash comes back and he just notices that something's different, and then you just leave it at that. And then you let every other movie tell you what was different, what changed.
I don't need the movies. Again, I don't need this. I don't need the movies to tell me it's different. They just do their own thing. And let us argue about it on the internet like we're supposed to. I don't need the movie to but if they're going to do something in the movie, that's my fan theory. Let's move on. The countdown is on July 11th, 2025. Assuming the movie is finished, because Gunn did say, we are not beholden to release dates. We will move movies and shows around to get the best quality out. Writer focused, writer led. If it's not working, we're not going to release it. We're not going to put out a substandard project. I believe them. We'll see what happens. It sounds great. Money talks. Well, when they've got 6 projects that they don't work, and the Warner Brother execs are like, just fucking put them out. We got to recoup something. Then we'll come back and be mad. But at least for now, it sounds good. July 11th, 2025, Superman Legacy, the start of the new DC universe.
Good question about the date. I have not been following Marvel. What is the nearest Marvel movies toward that?
Let's see, 2025.
Secret Wars?
That Secret Wars is in that. The May 2nd is Kang Dynasty, 2025. And May 2026 is Secret Wars. So this is the what the hell is
there's
11th?
2 Marvel movies in May of that year?
No, next year. They're doing the back-to-back.
What?
They're doing back-to-back 2025 and 2026.
Oh, okay.
So, July 11th. Oh, yeah, July 11th is Friday. So that's 2 months prior. So, yeah, there is nothing set for that. I would also, based on comments from Bob Iger and some other things at Marvel, I am not confident in any of these Marvel dates. There's a lot of stuff that's supposed to be early and spring 2023 that don't have dates yet. Let's see what Ant-Man does. I think there's a chance that everything gets moved around. I think a bunch of this stuff is going to get pushed back because we're getting 3 movies in 2023, 4 in 2024, and 3 in 2025 with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, with 6 shows set for this year alone, and none of them are dated. Let's go back to this couple weeks after Ant-Man and Wasp and see what the MCU schedule looks like.
Wait, don't I need to buy tickets for that? Isn't it?
Yeah, I already bought it. Yeah, it's next week. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll
look at.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But for now, July 11th, 2025, mark your calendar. Superman Legacy. This is from Variety. It focuses on Superman balancing his Kryptonian heritage with his human upbringing. He is the embodiment of truth, justice, in the American way. He is kindness in a world that thinks of kindness as old-fashioned. So that sounds like Superman. We will see what happens. Kevin is, I believe, restarting. So when he comes back in, we'll get with him. Brock.
Yes.
Superman.
Yes.
Give us a thought or two.
Gunn's already posted about the influence for Superman Legacy coming heavily from All-Star Superman, which is a big book in just scope and like what it entails, the lore it has. Like it's just overall a really big scope kind of book.
I take that as more tone than specific plot.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, it's the place to start is with Superman.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole kind of Flash finishing, and we have Shazam and Aquaman 2 and Blue Beetle.
If Superman is not working, there's a problem. If the Superman comics are not working, there's a problem at DC. If there's not a good Superman movie out, there's a problem with DC movies. Like I love Batman. Everyone loves Batman. Batman's very popular. Superman is the heart. Superman is where it all starts.
Yeah,
it's like Spider-Man. I mean, if Marvel's not doing Spider-Man right, something's wrong. Right? Superman's that.
I like them taking it back to he's a younger. But I think that that's also so that they can get more longevity out of the character potentially, especially with the actor that they get to fill that role. But again, I mean, I'm hopeful they can pull it off. Legacy is kind of a big word, or like a heavy word to use for the first one.
Toby.
Yeah.
Give me a minute on the old soups, the old boy, big blue Boy Scout.
I mean, I was with you originally on Man on Steel, man. I actually kind of like that for the new century. So if you're gonna redo it, a younger I don't know, like bring it on.
Yeah.
I'd be honest with you. I was hoping we were moving forward rather than backwards because I feel like with Batman we're moving forwards, and we'll talk about that later.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like we're going backwards. But I'm hoping. I mean, obviously the Man of Steel didn't resonate with a lot of people, right? And and hopefully we get this right with this new one. So I love Superman. I really do. And I feel like Gunn can actually write a really good Superman, which people may not agree with. And I think it's also why he's reluctant to direct it, because Safran says he's still trying to convince him to actually direct it. So,
right, we don't know for sure what his plans are, if he's going to direct or not. I assume he will, but
look, I'm looking.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
A lot of people obviously like the Tyler Hoechlin.
Mm-hmm.
Man a lot, and I'm all for a happier, more positive Superman, right? Because again, the MOS one didn't resonate with people, and I mean, Superman has to be done right. The world needs a Superman movie, so And I feel like if you're gonna start off a universe, it has to be Superman.
Yeah,
there's no way around it. Especially with the DCU, you have to do Superman.
Yep. Lane, give me a minute. What do you got?
Yeah, I was a little worried when you saw the All-Star picture because All-Star is about his last story, not his first.
Right.
I was kind of hoping it'd be more based on like for all seasons, but as long as it's going for the tone, I'm all for it. Yeah, and I'm not sure that Gunn may not be able to direct it purely because he's in charge of so much now. Also, so it's also something to do with his time. So
yeah, it's possible. It's possible.
But either way, I'm looking forward to. Like, there's a couple of rumors about who may be directing it right now, but we'll see.
Yeah,
I'm all for it though. Yeah, like everybody said, just
Baz Luhrmann.
What?
No, not Baz Luhrmann.
Jesus Christ!
You know what would be the all-time
Kevin?
Announce your presence with authority, kicking off the new DC. Yeah, Spielberg.
I mean, wasn't he rumored to be doing something with DC?
That was almost my guess last week.
Oh, that's why. That's
they were
right.
Dust that off.
Yeah.
So right war, wrong team. I'm not saying
Spielberg your go-to for us.
You want to kick off your new endeavor like with a giant splash. You can't get any bigger than that since Cameron is booked.
Yeah. Sorry, it would just be Superman fighting some aliens for 3.5 hours, and it'd be a bunch of fucking garbage. Nah, I'd walk out. I wouldn't. No. Don't even. Give me some.
Oh, dude, I think Ryan would be the biggest freaking camera defender.
Oh yeah.
you know that's true.
I don't hate James Cameron. I just hate Avatar. Like, that's all I'm saying. Like,
yeah, but you're gonna love James Cameron, where Superman fights Brainiac for 3 hours. You absolutely would gobble that up.
Not if it's a bunch of navel gazing garbage and a bunch of people swimming for 90 minutes.
Wait, how would you know that?
Hey, don't forget the fluty music.
Let's move on to the next movie. Now, this one, again, some thoughts. This by far was the one that I think caught everyone off guard. I think this caught everyone off guard. Not just so totally different from Superman, just so totally different than everything DC's done recently, and that is The Authority. There's the second movie out. It's going to be an Authority movie. Now, this is why
you can see it. That you can see a mile away.
Well, I didn't see, because I thought my thinking here was the reboot. They're going to try to restart from the beginning, build up slowly, right? The Authority is something that makes sense when you're years into projects, because you're going off what the perceived notion of the goody two shoe, of the good guy hero, of comics are stupid, the Authority's the badass 90s team, right? So I don't know if that's how they're going to go about it, but I wouldn't have thought they would do Authority so early. My wonder is if the thought process is we don't want to do Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Lantern, Martian Manhunter, Aquaman, all in a row. We want to show that we are going to do a bunch of different stuff. And Superman will be the light PG-13, action, heartfelt, good movie. Authority can be the hard PG-13, rated R, harsh, you want to see some fucking superheroes kick ass. Here we are. We're going to do it all, right? And so I wonder if that's their thought of, we want to counter Superman with something that's harsher, harder, more modern, for the people that hate Superman, for the people that think Superman's stupid, right? And so,
I think it's more along the lines of they're just going off of the popularity wave of at least the tone of Peacekeeper.
Yeah, the anti-hero, right.
The anti-hero, but also that whole kind of, if you look at the characters that are in the Authority, it's a different take on things. It's a more modernized thing, right? You have Midnighter and Apollo, which is, gay superhero couple, which is cool. You have characters that their abilities are not necessarily status quo kind of abilities and make you kind of really think about what power sets can actually be, which is a good introduction for people to just understand how eclectic powers can be if used properly, as in, for characters.
Yeah. Yeah, I just think there's I think it's for the people that are like, me, Superman's stupid. Like, I think that's for that crowd, which is a part of the audience, for the people that are like, I just like Wolverine. Like, well, here's the Authority. It's the same fucking thing,
It could also be just for free press, because
this is not exactly going out on a limb, but the first movie is Superman. The second movie is The Authority. What's a series that DC published in the last few years? Superman and the Authority. Grant Morrison is at some level at least involved in this endeavor, if not physically writing, is somehow involved because so many of his properties are involved, which I know I don't want to step on. But would it be the most shocking thing in the world if Superman was part of the Authority movie?
No, not necessarily. It says the film is being written right now, but declined to say who is writing the script. Grant Morrison could be co-writing it, right?
This may be finally the moment.
Yeah. And again, the smart thing there is you put Superman. Why Superman and the Authority have worked in the comics together is because Superman shows. The Authority is the thing you think you want. Superman's the dumb old thing, but Superman shows the Authority why Superman works, and that he's this is. I mean, it's not the Authority, but it's the same with Superman. What was it, 775? Right, the one with Manchester Black. It's the same idea, right? I mean, similar structure. So taking that story of being like, oh, we're the cool new guys, blah blah blah. Superman sucks, and it's like, well, not really.
Well,
I don't want it to be super dark, but
and they have something to learn from Superman.
Yeah, exactly. Toby, Lane, jump in. We said our pieces. You guys are big Wildstorm guys. You guys are. This is.
Well, I'm gonna let Lane speak for himself, but I always kind of enjoyed Wildstorm in its own pocket universe. But when that got announced, that was like the main thing going. Yeah. He's a comic book guy, because I think there's certain titles where that outside people, normies, don't know, and Authority I feel like is one of them. So this will be really interesting to see this getting introduced to the bigger audiences. Was it late?
Lane.
Yeah, I mean, it's been funny because, like Toby said, I listened to a bunch of the podcasts and like YouTube things when they talked about this whole announcement. Like, none of them knew who the Authority were.
What?
Yeah, everyone's like, who's this? I'll have to look it up. And it's just like, okay. I mean, I understand. It's a very niche thing. So
they're not really comic book readers. I mean, or they're really young.
Yeah, I think a lot of them they're younger. And I think that's kind of where this Authority fits so well, because I think what you have is your audience that's like old school Superman fans, right, from the 70s and stuff, who want that Christopher Reeve Superman, the bright blue and red, saves everybody kind of thing. And the Authority, I think, is more like your current audiences who fashion themselves after John Wick, like they like that kind of action, that kind of story hero, as opposed to the old fashioned kind that never won't hurt anyone. So I do think it's a kind of a good story. It's a good mix.
Yeah.
My only worry is that realistically we can't follow. Like, I don't know what story they're going to follow, because there's multiple versions of Authority, and because they jump straight into Authority, we're losing all the origins of the members of Authority, which actually happened in Stormwatch.
Yeah, but I mean, I assume that comes in. That comes in.
Now you're talking to a real Wildstorm fan, because he starts mentioning all the other stuff.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, of course, but yeah, we're not going to get like 3 Stormwatch movies that lead into Authority. That's not how they're going to do this. But you would expect it's going to be. They'll get to those characters.
Stormwatch could come out of the Waller thing.
Yeah,
it could
be.
Good. Yeah,
could be.
I'm just saying, like, it's not as easy to jump straight into the movie without having to recreate all the origins of all 7 members. So, like, it's the first movie is going to be your typical slow burn origins.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. I hope it's big and crazy as Authority has been.
It should be.
Although I'm a little worried if you say Morrison writing it, but we'll see.
Co-writing it.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. Obviously, the most obvious person for me still is Alice, but I've heard that Alice has nothing to do with it. So,
yeah. Movie number 3. No, I got a little idea on this one. Movie number 3, Brave and the Bold. This is not just a Batman movie. This is a Batman and Robin movie, and not just any Robin. The one, the only, Damian Wayne. Finally. Now, some people, I've seen comments that, we're jumping all the Nightwings, we're jumping all the other Robins, we're going straight to Damian. Jumping Nightwing and all the other Robins.
I actually think this is actually Dick Grayson as Batman.
You stole my fucking thunder. So hold on. So first of all,
steal the thunder on my character, bitch. All right.
First of all, he did say there is this is again a direct quote. It is a very strange sort of father-son story about Batman and Robin. Now, I expect Bruce Wayne will be in the majority of it. However, what if at the end of Aquaman, Bruce Wayne dies? It's the last movie before the new DC movies. What if the end of it is Bruce Wayne dies?
They won't do that.
So who comes in Brave and the Bold but Nightwing as the new Batman with Damian Wayne? This is Batman and Robin. This is the Grant Morrison comic, right? This is the image used by James Gunn.
I mean, what made that Batman and Robin so special was that Robin was the quiet, dull, not dull, but the dark one, and you got the happier Batman, which is completely different, right?
And it's the story about them trying. Batman dies. He dies, quote unquote, dies, right? And so this is the story of them trying to rescue Batman.
Look, I love that Morrison run.
No,
love, capital L. I've reread it probably 3 times complete, straight through. That's a lot of lifting that movie has to do, because it's got to introduce Damian and who he is and where he came from, which means it's introducing Talia. Then you've got to introduce Dick Grayson, and it's not just enough to say, the community at large knows that Dick Grayson was Robin. No, they don't. No.
I think you just Robin, right? You just say he was Robin. Now he's someone else, right? I mean, I don't think we're going to get I think they're there. They're not going to say, this is the first Robin. There was never a Robin before Damian Wayne. No. The Robins have been around. Everyone knows that everyone knows Robin. Doesn't matter if they know Nightwing. Doesn't matter if they know the name Dick Grayson. People know what Robin is. You don't need to explain that. So having that there's multiple Robins and that Nightwing is a grown-up Robin,
you can do that in a short amount. You can do that in the credits, pre-credits, like a James Bond movie. That's the mission.
I think they're not going to go up against Batman with another Batman movie. So when I said the other week, I think they do Superman, but I think they don't do Batman. I think they do Nightwing. I think this is their out. This is how they do it. This is how Nightwing happens. He's just Batman.
Why wouldn't they introduce Bruce Wayne Batman?
You do. He gets killed off. He gets killed off in Aquaman. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. It doesn't. I don't think it floats. I think you're
no pun intended.
Too much in. Yeah, I think you're too much into comic books, and they're kind of restructuring of everything.
This is the story that he's pulling from, right? This isn't a case where I think tonally they don't do. They're not doing All-Star Superman. That's not a movie that works as a random movie. But tonally, if anything, they're gonna probably pull stuff from Grant Morrison's Batman, but keep elements of Tomasi's Batman and Robin in there. I mean, it's all of it, right? It's.
But I want to go on record now and say, how long until we get Batman The Brave and the Bold as the title versus just The Brave and the Bold.
Possibly. Very possibly. Right?
Because they're not going to do Batman and Robin because of the stain that movie has.
And having Batman in the title is a big push, right? But do they want multiple movies with Batman in the title? I don't know. Maybe not, right? That's why they avoid it. If they call it Batman...
Avoid it? They announce something and then they tack it on later.
If they call it Batman... people expect Batman. If it's Brave and the Bold and Nightwing shows up...
The only part of your theory...
It doesn't say Batman.
I don't like is I don't think they're going to do the Marvel model where you're going to say, oh, well, if you want to know what happened to Batman, you got to go see this other movie, Aquaman. You didn't see that? Okay, well, then you don't know what's going on. It's just a new Batman. I think it's going to be more standalone movies. And yes, there'll be plot threads that carry over, but I don't think it's building a continual story where one movie feeds the next, feeds the next, feeds the next.
Me and you, Toby. Me and you. How's it feel to be right?
Well, it feels to be agreeing with you, Ryan. It's strange feelings. I'm very, very worried because the world might just go down.
Oh, if I say it, it's 100% wrong, right? That's just how it works.
That's what I'm worried about because I don't.
So.
He just burned your Nightwing bridge, Toby.
Yeah.
But wouldn't that be fucking amazing?
Well, if you just burn it, I'm taking this to the grave and I will hate you forever.
Well, the thing is like, if you actually go and think about it, wouldn't it be better to build up Batman as Batman, Bruce Wayne, Superman is Clark Kent, right? Diana as Wonder Woman. Build up all of these characters, and then you can start maybe touching on things like, oh, I don't know, fucking the death of Batman, where you actually have the thing being passed, where Nightwing is a character that we've seen before,
sure,
and who takes up the mantle.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't.
You could end up getting a Black Mirror movie out of this thing.
I don't think we're going to get 8 origin movies. I don't think we're going to get all these year one movies again. I think Gunn realizes that they've literally done this multiple times. They have other movies that have tread this exact same ground in the modern day, like recently. I don't think that's the case. I think that's why I think like you wouldn't say, oh, we're going to bring these actors back. We're going to bring some of these actors back if they want to be back. But it's like a totally rebooted universe and everything's 100% different. That doesn't make any sense. Right. So I think they're going to take what they want from the continuity. The reboot after Flash allows them to take and not take whatever they want. But yeah, I mean, I think the audience would be smart enough. The general audience would be smart enough if it's like, yeah, it's someone else took over we know who Robin is. Robin grew up and became Batman. Okay, we'll deal with this. Again, do I think it's going to happen? No, I don't. I think it's going to be Bruce Wayne. I think it's going to be Bruce Wayne through the whole movie. But
my concern
I would love,
like, no matter what. I mean, there are certain things you just set in stone. I just need to know what happened to Bruce Wayne that made him want to become Batman. I need a movie to show me that. I need an answer, a definitive answer.
You want to see the pearls again?
Why did he become Batman? It's just a blank. Like, stop teasing us.
Whenever Poochie's on the screen, every character should ask, "Where's Poochie?" I think we're gonna. I mean, will we get the 5-second version of the origin? Of course. It's going to be in every movie for all of history.
Do it as comic panels in the credits.
We're going to get that little flash.
Credits.
But
you're done. Then you're on your way. Done.
Yeah, sure. Grant Morrison was not the only comic book writer specifically name dropped, because the one and only Tom King got multiple mentions.
Actually, I was going to say something about Batman really quick.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry, Lane. Yes. Sorry.
Because also don't forget that Gunn also mentioned that Brave and Bold is the start of the Bat family. So that's also why I think you're kind of wrong on that, where I think what it is like Brock said, I think it's going to be a mix of both the Morrison run and the Tomasi run, where it is Bruce Wayne raising Damian. But I have a feeling that what you'll end up with something along the lines of, you'll get the movie, end credits, you'll have Nightwing pop up. And we'll start that rivalry between Nightwing and Damian or something. And that extends the family going forward. And then we keep getting new characters dropping in.
I'd be cool with that too.
Nightwing and Damian buddy cop superheroes, baby. Woohoo!
I'd be 100% cool with that as well.
Braving the Bold 48 hours.
Tom King.
Too deep of a cut?
I know. Tom King specifically named, and not only named, but also working on one of the movies. So the Morrison thing is just a theory. Tom King is working on Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, named after and based on his graphic novel with Bill Quisevely that came out last year. Yeah, the series, right? And now the recently released graphic novel. Supergirl was a teenager when Argo blew up as part of Krypton's destruction, right? She is older. I'm not, because it's just time shit. She's not, but she's, she was older.
The cosmic rays slowed her aging.
Yeah, she was older than Clark. Now, how much of that specific arc will it follow? I don't know, right? But a universe-hopping Supergirl movie where she's like a badass, again, 1,000% down for. And again, named specifically after the comic, and Tom King is working on the movie. So I could not ask for anything better. The fact of bringing a Superman and Supergirl movie at the same time, I am thrilled. Kevin, I don't know if the phrase she's much more hardcore than Superman gives you some concern, but
yeah,
if it follows Woman of Tomorrow, that story, that
and this is a thing
is okay to me.
Had this conversation. If that comic had come out and this conversation was 10 years ago, you go, oh, you got to make that an animated movie. How could you possibly do it live action? It'd be so expensive. But now you could totally do that comic live action. I think it'd look amazing. I mean, look at Avatar, look at Valerian, look at the kind of world building you can do. I mean, that's
yep.
I'm much more a fan of Superman as the sole survivor. But with that said, I finally caught up with that comic this past year. I didn't read it when it came out. I just caught up with it maybe in the fall. And I thought it was amazing. And that art is just jaw-dropping. And so I'm ready. I'm in. I can't believe it. We're getting a redux on a Supergirl movie for the first time since 84, I'm going to guess. Somewhere in there?
Yeah.
Bring it.
Yeah, I think it's 84. Yep. I can't wait. Toby, Lane. Brock, too. Supergirl. Did you guys read Woman of Tomorrow? Lane, did you end up reading that?
I think I read the first one, and I haven't finished reading the rest. I was kind of waiting for is the hardcover not out yet?
No hardcover, not yet.
Yeah, I was waiting for the hardcover.
Well, there's nothing out currently.
Yeah.
Okay. A trade exists. A trade exists.
It's out of print or in between printings. All of this stuff was announced with nothing. So everything's out of print virtually.
So let's have this conversation since we got the Supergirl. Gunn not only mentioned all this stuff by name and creators by name, physically linked to all the comic books. And it was like, this is what we're doing. He mentioned specific comics more than Marvel has in 15 years, right? In one interview, he mentioned the specific comics more than Marvel has in 15 years.
Which I freaking awesome.
Everything sold out. All the Morrison books, all the Authority books, all the Morrison Batman stuff, all the Supergirl books, and Swamp Thing's actually talking about that, but Swamp Thing is a sellout. But all the Swamp Thing books sold. We sold out of Supergirl immediately. All copies are, we're seeing Marvel-like hype on all the back issues, prices going crazy, people picking the stuff up. Specifically Supergirl, because it's named directly after the comic that it was based on and Tom King's involvement, just shot up the charts. Like 3 of these are in Amazon's top selling list, or they were for however many copies they had in stock. They all were top sellers on the Amazon graphic novel charts. DC, the comic people tend to not get too much of a heads up on this sort of stuff, right? This stuff is very much need to know only. They can't tip their hands to get the stuff reprinted. Stock was out there, it got dried up very quickly. Look, it happens. It happened with Marvel, it happens with everything. They are actively reprinting this stuff to get it back, and it's going to be very quick. It should be back in stock sooner than later. So Don't go paying eBay prices or Amazon used prices for the Supergirl trade or anything like that. They're coming back very, very quickly. But yes, Toby, Lane, Supergirl.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense. Like, look, you want to have a female character there, right? And I think do a Wonder Woman now where they're not 100% sure what they're doing, and more on that later because they're doing the show. I think Supergirl is probably the most recognized next DC's leading lady. So it makes perfect sense.
I agree.
Lane.
Yeah, and I would just say, like, this is also the first time of all that announcement that Gunn specifically said this is an adaptation. So this is straight adaptation, not just influenced by.
Sure. To what degree, who knows, right? But yeah, when Marvel calls something Age of Ultron, it has nothing to do with the Age of Ultron comic, right? And even Brave and the Bold. I mean, it has nothing to do with the Brave and the Bold comic either, right? So a name is a name. It could do whatever. This specifically is based on the comic book. Now, to what degree, we don't know, but it is based on the comic.
Yeah,
and Authority, I figure, has to follow some of the major beats of the early Authority stuff.
Maybe, but like I said, the origins will be a little hard. So this is easier because it was more of a standalone story to begin with, and you have the writer on board. So,
well, and the thing is with this, it's a good way to test the waters to see where you want to go, because this can fall either in DCU proper or it can fall into Elseworlds. So it's kind of a good barometer, so to speak, about where you want.
This was one of the most fun, surprising announcements.
Well, like if it's going to work.
I mean, granted, some others are more random, but like when we were making our guesses last week, if you take Wonder Woman off the table, this is why I was guessing Catwoman, Zatanna, trying to come up with who would be the next female, because I never, ever would have dreamed they'd do a Supergirl and a Superman movie, like on the same slate. Not that they're coming out at the same time, but announce them together. Never would have guessed. So that's why I was scrambling around trying to think of, well, what female character would be kind of have enough meat on the bone to carry a solo movie? And this was just completely out of left field.
Yeah.
Plus, this also hits the extra genre that was kind of possibly missing. I mean, I don't know if Authority is going to fill it or not, which is the sci-fi category, because, your Lanterns are being terrestrial based. So this is your sci-fi space epic movie, so to speak.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's also what I like about Gunn's plans, where you've got each different genres, so each movie will feel different. It's not just all going to feel the same.
Well, I think they took what Marvel was doing very well for a while, which was having directors or creators that fit a certain mold make a certain film, right? Like the Russo brothers were doing Captain America, and we got Winter Soldier out of that, right? Like the director that, like they had directors that fit a certain mold.
Oh, they didn't fit any mold. They did Community before that. Yeah. Like they came from nowhere.
No, but I'm saying like it's like when you have things that, like, I don't know, it's like the things seem to work when they were going for something, right? Like when they were doing Ant-Man, they were trying to get somebody who was kind of humorous and
sure, and they didn't, and he left the pride. He left. What's his name? Who was the director supposed to be?
Brock.
You're right. Yeah, and he didn't do it. Right.
Well, Joe Johnston.
Oh my God!
Here to do Captain America. Branagh, who had done Shakespeare, to do Thor, trying to match the kind of voice with the project.
Yeah,
the Russos are kind of the wild card out of nowhere.
Yeah, but they kept going, and we got some of the biggest Marvel movies from them with that. But I think that Gunn following, and saying out loud, we're going to focus creatively. The creators are going to be the ones driving. Hopefully it works, because, we want it to. Yeah. But
final movie in the slot. Again, talk about extremely different. All right. Swamp Thing. Horror movie. This is a much more horrific film, but we'll still have Swamp Thing interact with other characters. James Gunn said he did say that he talked about people's initial reaction to Rocket and Groot working with the Avengers, he's like, yo, this is the same process, but we're going to take, this is just another facet of the DC universe. And yeah, Swamp Thing and Superman can totally hang out, and we'll play that up however it works out, but they're in the same universe. And already, again, to what degree, I don't know. It's been a week. We'll see if anything comes from this. But James Mangold, who directed, among other things, Logan, which a lot of people very easily see as the best X-Men movie, and he's doing the new Indiana Jones movie, which we'll see how that goes.
As long as there's punching Nazis in it, I'll be fine.
Already publicly in talks already to direct the Swamp Thing movie. And that is one thing that I also wanted to bring up too. The public, upfront, non-secretive nature of all this is so refreshing. Disney is like a wall. They have that vault, right? And nobody knows anything, which I understand, which I completely understand. I think most companies are like that. Most people are like that. It just makes sense. You don't want stuff to get out before it's ready. But Gunn must, he obviously realizes this. Well, he said this. There was one of the comments he made was this is the Variety headline. Gunn and Peter Safran vow to put screenwriting first to fix the once quote unquote fucked up DC studios. Right? They understand that there are so many problems, and if all you're letting is the assholes on YouTube dictate what people think is really happening, you have to knock that shit down immediately. And Gunn gets that. He's very good at social media. He's very good. Don't hide anything. You don't have to show everything. Don't put your whole day planner out there. But shut that shit down immediately and get people excited and hyped and knock down the bad rumors. And maybe it's impossible. Maybe at some point stuff gets so bad you can't hide it, and that everything has to get locked up in secret. And there's clearly casting and there's contracts and all the stuff. So but people, the conversations he's had about Henry Cavill, people at studios don't have those. They don't say that. They don't come out publicly and talk about, he was never hired, right? I mean, these are very refreshing, upfront comments by him across the board. So James Mangold is coming out and being like, fucking Swamp Thing, me, I'm doing it, let's do it, and Gunn being like, thumbs up, all right, let's talk. What the hell does that happen? Never. So, and I mean, I could not be more excited for a Swamp Thing. Again, I feel like Swamp Thing works better as a TV show, but whatever, see what happens. Swamp Thing, hopefully, finally the linchpin to get the Justice League Dark, to get that group of characters involved in the DC universe in a big way. Kind of recast Constantine at some point. So
if it opens up, bringing Keanu Reeves back as a multiverse.
Was going to say, I wonder if that Keanu Reeves Hellblazer 2 is still on the table as a multiverse project. Probably. I mean, it's a big name. So
I mean, I just recently rewatched that. It gets a lot of shit. It's really not
Constantine. I've never seen it.
Yeah. I've never seen a good John Constantine.
I've never seen it.
But as a movie about a demon hunter, it's good.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
And it probably has one of the best iterations of the devil I've
Tilda
ever
Swinton,
seen.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Tilda Swinton's in there. It's really good. It's not like
it's on the list.
Gangbusters, but it's really good.
It's on the list.
That's a DC property, right?
I do. But that was my problem with it. I was like, this isn't Constantine. I'm not gonna fucking watch this. It's like Catwoman. It's not Catwoman. I'm not gonna watch that.
Actually, it's more Constantine you think it is. It
doesn't count. But people say it's good, so yeah. Swamp Thing. Thoughts?
Sure, give it to me. Fuck, it's Swamp Thing. I mean, if you want to go full bore Swamp Thing and even do the Scott Snyder, Charles Soule stuff, where you bring in the green, the red, the gray, all that, I'm down. Bring it.
I like the show. I like the show. Yeah.
The TV show was.
I'd agree. I think it works better as a show because I don't know what is the one Swamp Thing story you would tell. Like, that commands the Swamp Thing movie. His origin. I assume.
Probably the origin.
That's a character I think you can give an origin story.
His origin. Yeah, because you could even do Ram V's version of it, which is a newer Swamp Thing, kind of as the character's learning about all these avatars in the universe and stuff that he's becoming into, like, the audience learns it at the same time. I don't know.
Toby, Lane, speak up.
Well, I don't have much to say. I enjoyed the TV show. I don't know Swamp Thing that much, except for the awesome Heather Locklear poster from the 80s.
Barbeau's the first one. Heather Locklear is the second one.
I want that on the wall. Yeah, and I think whenever Ryan was showing that in the store, I thought he was showing soft porn. Beyond that, I don't really know much about this stuff. So, hey, go DC, go comics.
Yeah, I'm the same. I watched the old movies, campy as they were.
Well, I gotta be honest. I actually loved the TV show enough. I didn't think it was my cup of tea, and it was like one of the ones I saved for the very end if I ran out of to watch. And I actually truly enjoyed the DC show, DCU show, whatever they called it back then. Yeah.
Yeah, just looking forward to it. Bring on Justice League Dark, man.
That Heather Locklear poster. I might have to track that down.
Yeah,
Return of the Swamp
Thing. It's like the Swamp Thing in that Heather Locklear movie.
Yeah, no, Swamp Thing
looks way better than the Swamp Thing in the first movie, but it's just a total like camp comedy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well that's
a monster of a comedy is what they called it, man.
Let's move on to some television here. First show up is an animated show. Now, this does appear, I'm assuming, this was already in the works, right? So first up, but never in my million guesses would I have come up with Creature Commandos. Creature Commandos is the 80s monster movie mashup team movie, right? What's the movie called? Monster Squad, right? This is the Monster Squad comic. So this is Frankenstein and the werewolf and Mummy and all that shit, right?
Well, Ryan, if James Gunn is going to take over, DC's going to have some fun,
right? No, and so this is the first animated project. Now, I believe this was already in the works. It's already been written. They're already production on it. They already have animation from it. So this was already happening pre everything, because animation takes longer than all of this. So Weasel, played by what's his brother's name? Sean Gunn, right? In Suicide Squad, is in. I mean, Weasel is in this, voiced, quote unquote, voiced, right?
Hey, anybody attached to the Suicide Squad is safe.
Yes. Now, this is your first character, sort of immediately going over into another form, right? So I assume. Again, it'll be more as time goes on. A character from Creature Commandos is supposed to show up, and we'll talk about Waller in a second, but in Waller, in the other show, I just assume Weasel, but maybe not. Maybe it'll be someone else. Wouldn't a fucking Frankenstein be amazing? Like Morrison's Frankenstein.
Is this true Creature
and again, another
like
Morrison thing, right? This is...
Oh, it didn't...
I don't know. It didn't really. No, because Weasel's in it, right? So I mean, I would put it. It could be.
The fun of Creature Commandos is seeing the Monster Squad killing Nazis.
I don't know if they really say.
Like, if you take that away, you have a commando team just doing like Black Ops stuff. It's still fun. It's less cool though.
It does have Flag's dad, so maybe it is in the past.
Is that what it says? His dad's supposed to be part of the team?
Yeah, the one human guy is supposed to be Flag's dad.
Oh, is it? Oh, yeah, that wouldn't be the past, but yeah. So the line has.
So it's Vietnam.
Does it say? Yeah. Yeah, Rick Flag Sr. The full list. Nick Flag Sr., Nina Mazursky, she's the creature from the Black Lagoon-ish girl.
The fish one.
Yeah, Dr. Phosphorus, Frankenstein, G.I. Robot, G.I. Robot, the Weasel, and Bride, which is the Shade, S-H-A-D-E, the Morrison era. Or was that? Was she in Seven Soldiers? Was Bride in Seven Soldiers?
Bride's always been attached to Frankenstein.
Well, yes. Yes.
No, in the DC stuff. Like, I don't know.
Yes, but I'm asking, of course. But I'm asking, was she, I don't remember if she was in Seven Soldiers or not. I don't remember when she comes out. That maybe Tomasi? But there's that whole era. So, yeah, no, I guess it is in the past. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know when it's going to take place.
If this gets us an Agents of Frankenstein TV show, fine, fuck it. Give it
yeah, but I'm hoping this is it should be in the style of Harley Quinn. So, very, very over the top and rated R.
That's fine. I can still get an Agents of Frankenstein.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah. But let's hit both of these together because we'll get everyone's thoughts. Because the next thing, not Agents of Shade. Agents of Shade. Yes, the next show is Waller. So think of this as kind of seemingly Peacemaker 1.5. Season 2 is coming on hold, but it will be down the road here. So there's going to be characters from Peacemaker coming over to this. Again, I just call it Peacemaker.
If you're married to James Gunn, your character's okay.
Yeah. Who knows?
Well, they're still having Viola Davis.
Viola Davis. Yeah. And apparently executive produced by Jeremy Carver, who did Doom Patrol. So they're bringing over some of the HBO Max people as well. So it's already being worked on. And those it says that will debut before Superman Legacy. So these two are again kind of in that middle ground where they're going to be sort of still connected to the things that have already happened, but technically part of the new stuff too. So yes, thoughts. Peacemaker, Suicide Squad world getting expanded out a little bit, but still connected, obviously, to the DC universe. So, Toby, Lane, hit us.
This is where it gets really confusing. Like, you want a clean start, you do a clean start, and then all or else.
But he's not. That's what I'm saying.
Never been known for a clean start.
And that's why I'm saying it's not a clean start. They're not doing a clean start. Get that out of your head because it's not.
Yeah, always.
And continue talking.
Totally.
Or don't continue talking. That's fine too. Like
I don't know how to respond. I'm like,
it's not. Some characters are going to be replaced. Clearly, stuff is continuing. Squad's still in the continuity. Aquaman's going to be part of it. Blue Beetle's going to be part of it. Flash is going to be part of it. Everyone's invited back except for Cavill and Ben Affleck, but
you guys are forgetting the most important thing about this rejiggering of the DC universe with focusing on the Suicide Squad is that these might be the same actors playing kind of the same roles, but in a different universe. But we could potentially get Polka Dot Man back.
Yeah, hell yeah! I mean, yeah,
we could get Polka Dot Man back.
Yeah, you just read, whatever changes in Flash, elements will stick around, else some elements won't. These things were already in production. These things are happening. Peacemaker 2 is going to happen. It's still in the same universe, but, things will be a little different. But, yeah, it's not a start from this. It's not a day one start from the beginning. That's why I'm okay with killing Batman and Aquaman and having Nightwing be in this, like all those type of things, because they're not saying throw it all away or ignoring all of it. No, they're ignoring some of it. They're going to redo some of it, but yeah.
Because the characters, at least in the Suicide Squad, people like. They like Ratcatcher 2. They like Deadshot, right?
No, Deadshot was in.
But that's his name.
Bloodsport.
Deadshot's in
Deadshot. Bloodsport.
Bloodsport was Idris Elba.
Idris Elba is Bloodsport.
Whatever, Bloodsport. Okay, so everyone likes Bloodsport. They love Margaret Robbie as Harley Quinn, right? Like all of these things that like people really care about and like. You can still keep some of it. Now, whether or not Margaret Robbie's Harley Quinn transfers over, that's a different story. But of these other characters, potentially can. So we'll see.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, if they're doing a TV show and it's kind of like that Ostrander stuff, like that early stuff where it was like every issue was just a mission. Oh man, that's gonna be so much fun.
I'm excited.
Hey, you know what's gonna happen? I'm calling it now. Resurrection Man first appearance.
You okay with that too?
You're gonna see Resurrection Man hit the screen. And people are gonna go nuts.
Next up,
But Gunn has it's going to go to all the comic book stores, get some obscure character. He's going to collect all the books. He's going to make a hit out of the character. And go, haha! I got all the books.
Fine with that.
Oh, I know what you want in Waller, especially thanks to Flashpoint or Flash. You want the pie in the face.
Yes, let's do it. Yes, let's do it. Let's get the pieing from Suicide Squad. The Greg Berlanti Green Lantern show is no longer happening as we expected. However, that does not mean there's no Green Lantern stuff. Lanterns is coming. I don't know if I love the name, but Lanterns is coming. Quote unquote, a huge HBO quality event in the vein of True Detective. This will be
They already lost me with that.
With the True Detective bit?
Yeah, the tone in that show, yeah. I don't know, man. Like,
season 1 was amazing.
It seems amazing, but that's dark. Like, real dark.
That's cool with me. Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart will be investigating a mystery that plays, this is quote unquote, plays a really big role leading us into the main story that we're telling across our film and television. I guess we never said this either. Chapter 1, phase 1, if you will. Chapter 1 is called Gods and Monsters. So this is the sort of pitch for
BB-8 coming.
Pitch for the first batch of movies.
Did I get a little sticker from that Wildstorm person?
That'll take place over the first couple of years. This is a very important show, according to Peter Safran. So, this is a terrestrial-based investigation story, which, look, I love Green Lanterns in space, but they also operate on Earth. I'm okay with that, too.
The new title, Men in Green.
As long as they've got rings and they're making giant constructs out of them and shit's going down, I'm fine. We'll see where it goes.
The darker Men in Black.
They're investigating the
Detective Men in Black, but green.
They trying to solve the death
solving the death of Orion.
Batman when he got thrown back in time.
It's the opening of Final Crisis.
I'm okay with that too.
So when are we getting this Mr. Miracle?
Yeah.
Well, but they said they're investigating a mystery. I was trying to think of when a Green Lantern's been involved in a mystery in the comics.
Yeah.
Ooh. Well, you have the White Ring.
Yeah.
If they do Final Crisis,
right?
Oh, boy. That's how you do Darkseid without doing Darkseid, right? I mean, yeah.
But then it's not you haven't even had a first crisis.
I just think, Ryan, if you're describing it as an Earth-based show in the vein of True Detective, I wouldn't hold my breath for giant boxing gloves and green jet fighters and stuff like that.
A little bit, maybe a little. You don't make a Green Lantern show if they don't have the power ring doing shit. It doesn't have to be a sci-fi space epic where they're doing it, it's Star Wars and they're flying around every minute.
If Ryan Reynolds announces back as Hal Jordan for this show, would you be excited?
No.
Oh, sure. He's great. He's grown. He's grown as an actor, a little bit older now. Yeah, I think that'd be great.
But he shot that character.
That's right.
I'm a little surprised that it's Hal Jordan.
Get rebooted.
Why? Because Hal Jordan's a pilot, not an investigator, so much as James. Jon Stewart, I understand. I would have expected maybe Martian Manhunter instead.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Well, Guy wasn't Guy a police officer or tried to?
Tried.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be a better? That would.
Hal's Green Lantern. Yeah, I think it's whatever you think about all the other lanterns, which I love them all.
Yeah.
Hal's going to be on the show. Hal's going to be the main focus. But I'm excited for John too. So I like give that Blake buddy cop.
I like that idea.
Team up. Yeah. So yeah.
I thought you wanted 48 hours.
Saying it's going to be a new lethal weapon.
This is your 48 hours.
Okay with that.
The lethal weapon is a ring.
Yeah,
you could have Eddie Murphy as Jon Stewart.
That was the other one. This is
Ryan Reynolds as Hal Jordan.
Dude, Eddie Murphy killed it in
not Nick
You
Nolte?
People from Netflix. Let me tell you, he was great.
Second to last TV show, Paradise Lost. This is a Game of Thrones-ish.
I'm already out.
Wonder Woman. Sorry, not Wonder Woman, I should say. Amazon. Origin of Themyscira show, which with the recent release of
Historia?
Wonder Woman Historia. Makes.
Did you finish that?
No. I hope they draw from elements of that. And again, I said Nightwing. I also said Nubia. Here's how you do a Wonder Woman show without Wonder Woman, right? There was talk of a Wonder Woman 2.5, which was going to be the Amazon's origin, right? Movie. This makes more sense to me as a TV show, right? Historical, fantasy epic.
Well, this is
right?
where you introduce the gods, the gods and monsters and part of the chapter.
Sure, and the politics. Well, the gods are Superman, and monsters are Commandos and Frankenstein.
No, I think you go with gods. Like you go with Zeus and all of them, and then you bring in the new gods down the road. Like this is kind of where you get people on that understanding the levels of like Kirby introduced for those, right? Like you have the new gods and the old gods and stuff.
So. The quote from Saffron is, "This is the political intrigue this is the political intrigue behind a society of all women. What are the origins of the island and the all women? What are the beautiful truths and the ugly truths behind all that? What's the scheming like between the different power players in society?" Sure, of course the gods are going to be involved in some fashion. It's Wonder Woman. But this feels more politically, and again, totally different from everything else, right?
Again, Wonder Woman Historia.
Yeah, exactly.
If they do that, oh man. Mwah.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, I figure you got to pull from Historia at least a little bit at this point.
Well, I think it's if you pull from Historia and you pull from kind of current context where they have Wonder Girl coming from the Amazons from like Latin America, and then you have oh God, why am I forgetting the rest of them? Like Nubia is part of some of those Amazonian. Like there's different tribes of Amazons that have.
Yeah. I expect they'll get into all that. And finally,
oh yeah, we forgot.
We've waited. All that was just the start. We went through Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Swamp Thing. They saved the best for last. My favorite character, your favorite character. Listening, if it's not your favorite character, stop this podcast and hit the unsubscribe button because I don't want you listening to this podcast.
I'll see you guys later. Once again, later. Bye.
Everyone's favorite character, the one, the only, the greatest hero of all time you've never heard of, Booster motherfucking Gold, finally gets a television show. Booster Gold, baby. And what's funny, perfect character if Gunn wants to write this too, because he seems like he's going to still be involved in this stuff. Booster Gold is like that, like, the over dramatic sad sack, but way overcompensates. The goofiness of Peacemaker would work so well for a Booster Gold show. Like he doesn't say anything about working on the project.
This is also how you get us closer to like introducing the Legion.
But Ryan, you know what I thought of when you said all that? I agree with all of that. No, not the favorite hero part. The part you just said,
except for the Booster Gold part.
I think it's a shame to me. The fat fastball right over the middle of the plate casting on this would be Chris Pratt if he wasn't already playing something else. But imagine that actor in that kind of performance talking to Skeets. I mean, it just writes itself. It's perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, If he wants to grab on some of those guys and bring them over to DC, Star-Lord,
right,
in the comics is not Star-Lord in the movie. It's a completely different character, right? Which is fine. I like Star-Lord. In the movie, he's great.
Yeah,
but that is Booster Gold. The way he acts is Booster Gold from the comics. So that would work out very, very well. Look the part.
You are going to have to.
He's got the physique for it.
You're going to have to update a little bit here, modernize a little bit here, Ryan, because he's going to be using TikTok and be a social.
Of course he would be.
It's going to be heavy.
It's okay.
You might have to get a TikTok just to follow the movie.
I don't have to have a TikTok. Okay, I hate TikTok.
The store
I hate all this TikTok. Shit. If it fits the character, I'm okay with it. If Batman is on TikTok, I have a problem. If Booster Gold is not on TikTok, I would have a problem. Of course he would be. That's exactly what he would do.
Booster Gold videos on TikTok.
Someone will give it to me. Someone will pull it off and put it on Twitter, and I'll watch it there.
It'll pop up on YouTube Shorts.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, Booster Gold will 100% be on TikTok. I would be mad if he wasn't, because he's a loser and a complete narcissist, and is a giant piece of shit. So of course he'd be on TikTok, right? I mean, just like everyone else on TikTok. They love themselves.
Did you read that last series?
Yeah.
That was fun.
So I read the last series. I had to. So this is actually becoming. Total sidebar. There was a trend in comics recently to have, when characters are on like some sort of social media type thing, to have the comment section, quote unquote, show up as like panels, like caption boxes. I have to skip all those, much like I skip all the comments on the internet. I can't read the comments in the comic books either, because it's mind numbing. Just like the comments on real social media.
You don't get to follow their stalking them on the internet.
You don't. I get the important parts.
I love you, Booster. I love you, Blue Beetle.
I get the important parts without it. I did it for the first issue, and I said I can't read those. I have to stop reading those parts of that comic because it was super annoying. But of course, Booster Gold would be on TikTok. Of course, he would be.
It's all right. The store will get an account.
Please happen this time. So I finally finished Legends of Tomorrow. I don't hate the Booster Gold they introduced in the last episode, but it just wasn't Booster Gold. Like, it's some other character. So it was okay, but it's just not Booster Gold. So I hope this is a more accurate portrayal of Booster Gold. Booster Gold, please, for the love of God. And I would... And despite the internet joke of casting Chris Pratt as everyone, I actually would think he would be a great Booster Gold. So, Kevin, you're right on that one. Thoughts on Booster Gold and thoughts on everything. Let's wrap this up. There's other stuff to talk about, but we'll save that for future.
Isn't Pratt done with Guardians after number 3?
Sure, sounds like everyone's done with the Guardians after 3. So, including James Gunn. Toby, Lane, thoughts, Booster.
That's curious,
all you, man. That's all you. I'm if I get my Nightwing, I'm good. Booster for you.
With Jaime being Blue Beetle, though, I'm kind of curious. What do you think? Because now you can't have blue and gold.
He's gonna be in it.
I mean, I'm sure Ted Kord will be in it, but I'm just saying they can't become. He won't be Beetle though.
I'm not worried. I'm not concerned. No. Look. I like how Mary is. He's fine. He's totally fine. Ted Kord.
Also, what's everybody? I can ask Brock when he comes back. But what's everybody of all of these? What's the one that if you could jigger the release schedule, that would come first? The one you're most excited to watch or go see? Which one? And without the caveat of, well, if they do it this way and this way, that'll be my number one. No, with the information you have only right now. Sure.
Can I pick a movie and a TV show? Can I pick one each? Movie is authority. because I think I'm pretty confident in everything else. What we're going to get, I'm not. I don't expect any great surprises. I hope they're really good, right? And obviously, there's questions of how they're going to handle certain characters, but Authority is. I want to see how far they push it, and I want to see if they go rated R. I want to see how far they're gonna go, because I don't need everything. I don't need everything to be dark and crazy and over the top and hyper violent. I do not. I don't want Superman to be that. I don't want a bunch of them to be that. But I like that part of DC. Swamp Thing and Authority should be fucking dark, and if they're rated R, I'm totally down. I wonder how they're going to do that with the shows. As much as I'm excited for Brewster Gold, the answer is Lanterns, because besides I love Green Lantern, the connective tissue mystery. That excites me because I want to see what that is. That feels like it. Hopefully, that's your Thanos reveal at the end of Avengers 1, right? Like, if that's where they're doing something like that, where they're like, look, we're going to have a build up here in the background of a bunch of these projects, and it's Green Lanterns that starts it off. Yeah, I'm excited.
Lane, I'm putting you on the spot.
Oh, same question. Sadly, it's the exact same answer, but for the reason that I'm a bigger fan of those two, like Lanterns, because I absolutely love detective shows. So and then Authority, because it's Wildstorm, and it's about time we see Wildstorm property get some love. And like Ryan said, I'm more than satisfied knowing the rest are going to be.
I actually don't know, fine. Toby, what do you think? The same question.
What? Oh, Batman all the way. Brave and the Bold.
And show?
I don't know. Wonder Woman.
Paradise Lost.
Yeah.
Feel free to expand on these answers for any specific reasons, Toby. Yeah, Toby, I have a question. Have you been on a podcast before? I forgot to ask you before we invited you tonight if you've done one of these.
Brock, what's your number one?
It's been a long time.
Excited for? Just only with the information you have right now.
Excited for? I'm excited for Supergirl. Just because that story is so well written and like just really, really well done. I think it's going to be a overall just solid movie. TV show, I'd probably have to fall with, as long as it's something along the lines of Wonder Woman story, I have to go with Paradise Lost. Waller's just going to be more of the same, and so I'm used to like okay. And that I don't know how I'm going to like the True Detective kind of spin that they've said with the Lanterns. Even though I want it to be good and I'm like curious about it, I think just the excitement level for Paradise Lost with, the expansion of not just Wonder Woman but all the Wonder Woman family, so to speak, I think is like that's really solid right there. So,
I'll pick Lanterns for the TV, yeah. And then for movie, look, I'd like to see all of those movies, all of them. But I'm going to go with kind of a vanilla answer here. I'm going to say Superman.
We're going to see all of them,
just because it has been decades since I've seen a Superman movie that I could say I really enjoyed watching that. Decades. Batman, I've seen good Batman movies. We've had an embarrassment of riches with that character. Decades. So Superman, bring me a good Superman movie. And I don't mean one with some good scenes. I mean one where overall in the whole thing I could say I really enjoyed watching that. Was a pleasant viewing experience.
I actually still think it's not Bruce, so that's why I'm going with that one.
Either way, I think it's going to be really cool.
I'm going there too. And I think that's the kind of surprise here is there's not a bad pitch in the bunch. If this is all we get, fucking sign me up.
How many shows is that?
If this is just the tip of the iceberg,
10 that they announced. So the only of a list of 10, the only one of those I go where, it's fine. If I see it, I see it. If I don't, would be Waller. And it has nothing to do with any of the casting or the actor, the actress who has played her is. But I just think of that as like a support of the boss of the Suicide Squad, not the lead character of her own story. But hey, it might be great because who would have predicted Peacemaker, right? So who knows? But just I'm saying on paper, 9 out of 10. I mean, at least for me, everybody else might have a different number. Be like, damn, a 90% hit rate on this. I'm in.
And if you do the Creature Commandos and Waller don't count because they're coming out prior. So if you do the 2 movies a year, you're looking at 25, 26, and part of 27. So that's like, let's say first 3 years out of 10, right? So maybe some of these will move around. I don't know what's going to happen, but I want them today. I want them all today. It's going to be great. I hopefully look forward to all these. It's going to be thin next year. Just Joker, as far as I know.
Well, and plus
you could get Waller. So for you, it's really thin next year. I don't know.
So.
Yeah.
Oh, we still have stuff that's not part of any of this as well.
Well, this year we're getting fucking 4 movies, right? Yeah. And the finale of Titans, finale of Doom Patrol. Yeah, we're getting and Superman and Lois. We're getting a ton of stuff this year. Yeah. Next year, it's I assume Superman and Lois and Joker, and that's it.
Well, no, it's Penguin next year.
Yeah, Penguin.
Maybe is it supposed to be next year?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I think Penguin's
because 2025 is Superman and the Batman.
But remember, Penguin's attached to the Elseworlds, so Elseworlds don't count in.
No, but I mentioned the new stuff. I mentioned Doom Patrol and Titans and everything like that. So yeah. So next year will be very late for DC.
And
2025.
Don't forget your favorite property.
What's that?
Sandman season 2.
Oh yeah, Sandman season 2 will be next year. Oh, this year, right? So
I don't know. They haven't announced anything.
I hope this year, but
it might be the end of the year going into next year.
They may do every other. Was Stranger Things on an every other year release?
I think they had a break. Well, remember, a lot of this happened during COVID. So, like a lot of shows had a weird break.
Because Sandman's not coming out this summer if it hasn't. If they're not filming. To the best of my knowledge, they're not filming. So I can't imagine Sandman's this summer. Maybe end of year.
I am curious though. Before we wrap up, something to ask.
Yeah. We're gonna wrap up after this. Last comment. Hit me.
I mean, it's a good solid start, I think, to an announcement like to kind of getting that hype train going.
Yeah.
Once we start seeing the movies that come out this year and where those end and so on and so forth, and I think where we end up coming out of the Snyderverse with Flash and Aquaman 2, that's I think where Waller picks up, right? Like how do these things come into play? I think it's a good solid transition.
Yeah.
Kind of announcement.
Okay.
But we'll see. I mean, it's ambitious. I'll say that.
You said you had a question?
Yeah, this is after everybody's. This is completely different topic.
Oh, yeah. No. Okay, we're done. That's it. DC Universe. Come on, DC Studios. Let's do it. Yes. Very hopeful. Very hopeful. Great week. Very excited. Let's see what's going on. What's your question? We're going to wrap up.
So.
Wait, unrelated to all this?
Unrelated to all of this.
Oh, what's the question?
This is.
Stop this fucking podcast.
Did you see HBO's new?
No, I'm not talking about this. I'm not talking about Saturday Night Live.
Huh? Dude, that was.
No,
did you watch it?
No, I don't like Saturday Night Live. No.
Oh my fucking god, it's amazing! You have to watch it.
I don't know what it is, Brock.
Thank you, though.
Anybody else watch it?
No.
The
Pedro
SNL
Pascal.
had what's his name? Mandalorian guy. Yeah, they had him on, and so one of the pre-done skits they did was a trailer for another video game property that HBO is going to release, and they did basically Mario Kart, and it's this like dystopian, dark, like just like Mad Max kind of feel to like hecka dark, just amazing. Like this is an amazing trailer, and I'm literally sitting there going, "Yeah, I'd watch this shit."
Yeah, the internet did this like 15 years ago. Like, I mean, whatever. Yeah.
Oh my god, it's amazing! Like, it's
I have an unrelated question
alley.
for Ryan. Also,
watch this.
Could you rank for us your top 50 single issues stories that feature the Legion of Superheroes in some capacity? No, we're rolling. Go ahead.
You gotta give me some time, man. Come on, what are you doing?
Start at 50. Go ahead.
Well, like 8 of those are like the Jeff Johns Action Comics run, so I'll go with that. No.
How many Legion of Superheroes characters are there? Because
time. Keep it rolling. Go ahead.
A lot of origins.
49.
Like. Okay, Kevin. There's a podcast. If we ever don't have a topic, we will sit here and name Legion characters until one of us can't name a character or gets it wrong. Okay.
All you got to do is take something and add boy, lass, or girl.
Like, I'm probably good for about 40 or 50. I could probably get out. This is going
to be like,
and then I'll start to like really like start like going
in that bar with the drinking the shots contest, and whoever can't name a Legion character.
Yeah. I can name that. Name that tune. I can
listeners.
Name 40.
All right, here
40.
Here you go, listeners. Here's the.
I could probably get to 40.
Promise.
I think I could get to 40.
Next time we do not have
trouble.
enough news to fill a show, it's going to be like a game of dodgeball where we just throw Legion of Superheroes trivia questions at Ryan. No, but like character, not stories, like characters.
No. I'm bad.
This character is from the planet called blah blah blah.
Even though I'm so bad at their real names and the planets, I'm so bad at it. I can't. I'm so bad at it. Yeah, I never get them right. It's too much. It's too much. All right. That is it. Wonderful podcast. Thank you all. Very excited for DC. We'll see what happens. And God, please, for the love of God, just no nightmare, no fucking drama, no nightmares, no cancel. I don't want Gunn getting fired in 2 weeks. Like, just please let this all work. I'm so sick of it. I'm so excited. I so want this stuff to work this time. And think about what I said earlier in the podcast about Ant-Man. I think a lot's riding on Ant-Man. If Ant-Man clicks and is a big hit and people are super excited, I don't think Marvel's going to make any major changes. If Ant-Man, that's kind of the start to the next big phase. If Ant-Man stumbles, I think a lot's up in the air. Marvel, I think, is already very cautious about what's coming up because there's talk of stuff getting moved around. So I think they're waiting on Ant-Man. I think they're waiting on the reaction to that. We'll see if it makes a shitload of money. Then I don't think it's going to be.
It's at this point in time
Ant-Man 1 and 2 did not make big box offices. They're some of the lowest box office for Marvel.
But the thing is that low box office doesn't necessarily mean anything. It's audience reception. Audience reception to those movies was predominantly positive.
Box office is the only thing that actually really matters. Doctor Strange did really well, right? Way better than 1. So I'm assuming they're hoping for a similar thing with Ant-Man. That bump up, right? Ant-Man's now one of the top dogs. We'll see if it happens.
Let's see how Scar Kang does.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Thank you to our wonderful Patreon backers, including our high-tier backers, Joe Duff, Kelsey May, Craig Anderson at ClearPathCoaches.com, Jimmy Rivera at the Social Forum Podcast, and Talon Bray. Check out all their works, please. Thank you all very much. You can find all our previous episodes at Comic Conspiracy Podcast and Apple Podcast if you want to hear other ones again and never download. They're on there. Head over to Comics Conspiracy.
That subscribe button.
Yeah, smash that like button. Go over to comicsconspiracy.biz, pick up some comics from us. You can't pick any of the comics mentioned in this podcast, but we will have them all back in stock. Swamp Thing, I think, is still around. And the Alan Moore Swamp Thing is not out of print. Or no, it's not. They're not out of print. They're just between printing.
Between printings. This is like a Mouse thing when we did that Mouse.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just bad timing. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow should be back to store soon. Authority might be a little bit longer, but hopefully soon. All-Star Superman, again, always in print. We're out, but we'll have copies back in soon. So
hopefully, aren't they coming out with those Booster Gold, those Johns and Jurgens Booster Golds again?
No, I really fucking hope so, but they've been out of print forever. So
I know. That's why I'm like, hello.
Yeah. Conspiratorock.com, that's Brock's blog. You can go see his stuff over there. When he does it. Charlie is on the Wanderers of the Fourth Dimension podcast, all about Doctor Who. Should be one episode a month while they're waiting for the new episodes to start of Doctor Who for the 60th. Go check out Kevin's weekly interview series called Between the Panels at fanbasepress.com. And my wife Leanne has her website, leannehill.com. You can see her artwork there, as well as on Etsy at etsy.com/shop/LeanneHillArt. You can go on Twitter and tell me I'm all wrong about Nightwing being Batman and Brave and the Bold. You can talk to Brock Sager. Oh, I'm Ryan Higgins. Ryan, by the way.
You can tell me how wrong I am about it. You can tell Brian wrong it is.
You can message Toby at TobyXI and tell him how wrong I am about Nightwing.
Is he still locked out of that account?
No, I'll just read it in about 5 years when the movie.
Yeah. Charlie is Insanity and Chaos. Kevin is that Kevin Sharp, and the store is Comics Gone Store, and should have a Geekbox episode going up tomorrow night as well, probably about this very same topic. But other people's opinions, including
when you go on there tomorrow, just give a completely different take on everything. So you've covered your bases. So you're going to be right. You'll be right.
They're gonna discuss the SNL Mario Kart.
Oh, I'm sure they will.
Because it's a game podcast.
I'm sure they will.
And Ryan will hate it, even though he just needs to.
No. Ryan Scott hates SNL too. So we're in good company. That is it. Thank you guys all very, very much. We'll be back next week.